you will consider the difference between change and transformation. Change is when we take on something new. Transformation occurs when something old falls away, usually beyond our control. When we see a movie, read a book, or perhaps hear a sermon that we believe changed our lives, it will seldom, if ever, become transformative. It's a good thing, and we may have learned a valuable life lesson, but that's not transformation. Transformation occurs when you have an experience that changes the way you understand life and its mysteries. When my dad died, I immediately looked for the leather journal I had given to him years before with the request that he fill it with stories and things he wanted me to know. He had only written on one page, "Anything I have achieved or accomplished in my life is because of the gift of your mother as my wife. You should get to know her." I thought I knew her, but I followed his advice, and it was one of the most transformative experiences of my life. From a place of vulnerability and generosity, each author in this series invites us to walk with them for 40 days on their journeys toward transformation. I hope you will not limit your listening to only your number. Learn about your spouse or a friend. Consider listening about the type you suspect represents your parents or your siblings. You might even want to learn about someone you have little affection for, but are willing to try to understand. You can never change how you see, but you can change what you do with how you see. On being a 5. For as long as I can remember, I have felt most comfortable as a wallflower. I enjoy being the observer, leaning against the wall, taking everything in from afar. I have long had a natural inclination to retreat into my mind so that I might feel a little more capable and competent in the world. I felt different from others, especially when it came to social situations. As a result, I would compare myself to others and conclude that my way of being in the world was wrong, and there was, in fact, something wrong with me. When I discovered the Enneagram a few years ago, it felt like a map was unfolding. The Enneagram is an ancient tool that helps identify the specific ways we get lost or stuck across the landscape of life, and also how we can find our way home, where we can become more and more of who we are meant to be. There are 9 different personalities that illuminate different ways of being in the world, and I discovered that I was a 5. I was able to see things about myself that I had never had language for before. Suddenly, the path before me felt a little less lonely. As a 5, I showed up in the world as an observer. I live in pursuit of knowledge, seeking to learn and prepare myself to be capable and competent in the world. I desire to be useful. However, I tell myself that in order to do this, I must spend time away from others, preparing to be in the world. Seeing the Enneagram as a map was revelatory. Suddenly, I could see the various aspects of myself as a part of a greater landscape. On this map were many terrains, oceans, rivers, canyons, and valleys, and they all worked together. Yes, there were low places, but there were high places too. There were also 1,000 places in between. I discovered that the parts of myself I had previously seen as obstacles that kept me from being normal were actually ways I could grow. And not only grow in knowledge about what it meant to be a 5,